think I did 22 separate renders. This mic is kind of shitty. I don't even fucking know what to say. I don't have a script or anything. Man, I guess here we go.
NU-11 Null
Sector Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Null Sector Podcast, home of the vibes, shelter for the baseline enthusiast, and hangout session for just about everyone in between. I am Null, also known as Jake, and let's chill. All right, so, I don't have a pop filter this time. I also have a camera, hopefully, that's recording, so this is new as well. I have like 40 minutes, so I have a structure this time. I can't believe I'm actually recording episode 2 like consistently. This is crazy. I usually don't get this far. However, I have a limited amount of time, and I have a outline in front of me, a little lappy-toppy. Hopefully, I don't spend the majority of this time looking at the camera for nothing. Hopefully, that's not the case. However, I want to start out with letting you know the outline. So I have structured things like I said I would last time. So there are specific sections, and they're going to be divided up with like a little audio cues. So this will be, at least for now, the consistent outline for the podcast that may or may not change ever. So here we go. First, it starts with my intro, of course, and then we're going to have a small, just talk update, small talk, before things get into the meat of the podcast. So intro, small talk, and then we go to content update. That'll be the next section. So how is everything going that I've been making? Then we got three topics for the podcast. That may change, but So topic 1, which for this podcast will be about simulator gear. Topic 2, we'll get to that. And then topic 3 would be concerning producing stuff. We'll also get to that. Lastly, will be a question section. That will be explained more in depth, but there is everything is finished. The podcast is fully up. I have everything ready. So I have a way for you guys to submit questions and interact with me. I'll get to that as well. And then lastly, outro, and then that's it. So let's get started. There's a little thing in the air. Let's get started before I run out of time, because I got like 30 minutes basically, because somebody was taking a long time, which is me. So, all right. How are things going? Small talk. Today's been a crazy day. I'm just here to vibe, dog. I'm here to chill. I just kind of want this podcast to be as such, I wish I had a different recording environment, to be honest. It's not that I don't like this place. It's just, it's not comfy. I want to be able to sit back in a chair with a podcast near me, maybe with like a, semi-alcoholic drink, and just chill out and talk, That's what I want, but I don't have that yet. Got to get like a place to do that. That's it. Been busy today. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I've been like doing stuff pretty much since then. I've made like crazy progress today on just all of my artistic endeavors, and I'm pretty happy about it. So let us move on. All right, so first major section, content update. Well, unsurprisingly, I'm going to update you about what I've been working on. So, you know that I have been working on an EP, or if you don't, you do now. I've been talking about it a lot. I've been working on an EP. It is 3 songs. And it didn't really start out as an EP. It didn't start out with really much of a vision. It just kind of came out of nowhere. Oh, quick thing before I move on. I've been wanting to say this. I don't know if you can see the mic in the camera, and if you're listening to this, you definitely can't. But I'm recording on a AT2020 USB. I guess that's not really relevant. There's no pop filter. And last time in the first episode, I put like my face mask over it, and it works pretty well. Like really any cloth at all can work. But I'm not going to take my sock off my foot and put it on a public microphone. And I forgot to bring my mask, so I don't have a pop filter. So what I did was I canted the microphone at an angle to the side of me, and I'm kind of talking almost perpendicular to the microphone, but with my voice fairly close. And this way, I'm kind of making sure that I don't like do the abrasives. This is what happens. So P's, plosives, that's what they're called, sounds. They sound pretty all right. Peter Piper picked a peck of pipple pepperpers. Not too bad. If I turn to the microphone without a pop filter, suddenly it becomes Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. And yeah, my voice might sound a little better, but goddamn, you hear the problem. So I'll try to remember to bring one with me next time or get my hands on a real one. That'd be cool. Eventually I'll get my own microphone, but man, we gotta grow way more to where I can use
May I
it.
have your attention, please?
Hold on.
The library will remain open for another 30 minutes. If you're under the age of 13 and need
I'm
to
not.
call for a ride, please do so at this time. Library computers will begin shutting down in 20 minutes. If you're over the age of
This is very
18, you're
dystopian.
eligible to use
It's
the
kinda
library's
creepy.
self-service hours, which are available until 10 p.m. this evening. Please see staff for more information about open access. Thank you.
Okay, so to explain that, I actually wanted to sample this before. I wanted to sample this and like use it in a song. Basically, the library here, it's really great. I love this library, but basically they have like what they call a open access. So the library is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. There's some exceptions on like Sunday, I think. But really, if you have a library card and you're over the age of, I think they said it was 13, you can scan your library card at the front doors, type in your passcode, and you can come in 2 hours early before they open. You can come in at 8 a.m. And you can also go into the library technically after they've closed past 8 p.m. and stay till 10. So it's pretty cool. It kind of eliminates children not being around, which is great because they're loud and annoying. Anyway, I'm wasting time. So, content update. EP, it did not start out as an EP, and I'm excited because I'm actually making real progress on like everything, even like the YouTube video, which has been the biggest hurdle for me. I need to just, release a video of some kind and not stress too much over how perfect it is, because I'll get there eventually, I just need to release content. But so general content update, I made 2 TikToks today, which is cool. I posted one of them. It's doing, is about as good as my TikToks do. They don't get very many views, but I'm happy with them. I announced that I'm working on an EP, and I had this problem. I went to Reddit. I tried to solve the problem. I want to have the EP have specific art for each song because story-wise, I kind of want to tell a story with the art that I'm using. I have a whole story in my head anyway, which we can talk about another day. I might as well save that. I should write that down. Use my fancy Bluetooth keyboard I got today. I'm actually in love with these little guys. But for a future topic, I'll write down story behind EP. I'll forget if I don't. Okay. Anyway, I want to tell a story. And this all came to me. I just started making a song one day. I hadn't done it in a while and I really wanted to commit. So I did. And I just started making a song. And it went surprisingly well, which hadn't been the case for me in a while. I had been out of making music for quite a few months, which for reasons I'll get to later. But once I started, it was going really well. And I decided to name it Concilium. Because for me, I have this like little Discord server that I'm the only member of. And I have it all branded like it's some kind of fictional space station society. And I have like, it's pretty cool, but I'm like the only one there on purpose. It's basically a way for me to organize my mind and my thoughts and write down and notate all the things I don't want to forget about my hobbies. And I wanted to think of a cool name for it. So I thought of concilium, which is Latin for the plan, because it's basically just a lot of plans. Anyway, let me read you my little excerpt from there, just because I'm pretty proud of it. 1 second. Concilium. The concilium. It's kind of redundant calling it the concilium because concilium already means the plan anyway. But here's my little excerpt that I wrote on the introduction to the little channel here. The concilium is a megastructure nestled so insurmountably deep into the expanse that onlookers consider it theoretical. Though they may try to reach it, nothing can come close. Comprised of massive, organized, and incredibly diverse infrastructure fueled by tight beams of energy from the nearest Dyson sphere, it serves as a nebulous base of operations to structure the chaos of the wandering mind. It exists only in the universe I choose to create, but it is the home to my dreams, special interests, and stories. And I guess I'll put it on screen here. This little picture I got from Google, and then this is a little AI version of me as a spaceman from TikTok. Anyway, yeah, it's cute. I like it. It's genuinely helpful as well. But that's why I named this song Concilium. It's like the first thing that came to mind, and I wanted it to kind of have some meaning behind it. So I kind of pictured just like this epic, beautiful, rotating space station with all these big rings and super sci-fi. And I tried to make a song that kind of felt like that, but also, tear out dubstep, drum and bass, all that. Anyway, the more I worked on the song, the more I was like, I've never done a multi-release, and I really want to. I always do one song at a time. I make like one song a year. It sucks. So I decided, fuck it. I'm going to make an EP. So I committed, and I decided I'm going to make 3 songs, and I'm going to make them roughly related. At first, that wasn't really the plan. I was just going to make 3 songs and release them together because why not? Then, and this is part of why I love being an artist, I need some water.
Hold on. Excuse me while I take a sippy.
Refreshing. One thing I love about art is how the artistic mind wanders and it kind of evolves in front of you. And so it went from me making, I'll just make 3 songs to, what if I kind of had a theme for each song? And I started playing around making thumbnails using Midjourney and heavily photoshopping the results and doing like hundreds of generations trying to get like what I was thinking in my mind. Regardless of what you think about AI art, the results kind of speak for themselves for me. I'm very happy with the covers that I have for these songs, the art. I spent hours and hours trying to come up with good prompts that kind of got me close. They didn't, so I had to heavily Photoshop them. But I really like the results that it came out with. I always am able to manipulate the image with traditional skills after the fact of generation to make it kind of be what I want. I'll include all that in a YouTube video of how I did that and the whole process. But I'm limited on time today, so we got to keep moving. Anyway, I came up with a whole story. I decided I'd have a color theme that kind of relates to the emotional state of the story. I really wish I could make 3D animated shorts to go along with my songs. I can't. So this is about as close as I can get. Anyway, got to keep moving on. So How's the video coming along? It's not really. I haven't actually edited anything in a week, so I kind of did recording today a little bit of footage. I'll get there. I'm gonna focus on that in the next couple days, and then podcast updates. I did a lot about that today. Episode 2, you're currently listening to it. It's super fire. I'm super excited. I'm like, it's crazy, man. I've talked about it in the last episode a little bit, but I've had like a very unhealthy relationship with my art in the past where I'm like really focused on the view counts and numbers and shit. And it's not that I'm not to an extent now, but I think I'm just finally happy creating my own content and releasing it like just for myself. And it's a strange feeling. It's like maturing as an artist, I think. And it's exciting because I haven't really felt that way before. And like just making this podcast makes me happy, even if nobody's listening to it, which is crazy because that never really applied before. But if people eventually do, that's fire, dude. That's fire. We got to move on though. We've got like 20 minutes left. So, topic number 1. Sim gear. Simulator gear. I am now going to talk about one of my special interests, which is basically anything that has to do with simulators. There might be some of you who know a lot about this. There might be a lot of you who know literally nothing about this, and there might be some of you who have heard of it, but still basically don't know that much. So, I'll try not to patronize, but I'll explain a little bit. So, in general, the basic premise of a simulator, a lot of people kind of don't understand why you just like, what's the point? Well, a lot of simulation games actually have objectives. They're not just quite, oh, fly the plane. No, that's not true. Some of them also are, like Microsoft Flight Sim. That's just fly plane, land plane, yay. But there's a lot of other things. There's War Thunder, which is technically a simulator. I stretch to call it that because anyway. War Thunder, IL-2, DCS, these are all like airplane simulators that go from prop planes to super props to late era jets to somewhat modern jets, like 70s and 80s. I mean, not that we really have two modern jets right now anyway. Jets have kind of always been stuck in the past. We don't change them that much. But then there's racing sim, there's ground sim, there's complete simulators like BeamNG, which is kind of more like a soft body car destruction simulator than it is a racing sim, but you can mod it and stuff, and it's still kind of, it works, it's fun. Assetto Corsa, a lot of other racing sims, which I've been kind of hyper-focused on recently, which I really want to get into. I think it's the G29, I think is what it's called, the Logitech entry racing wheel. I'm interested. Whoops, he's banged my mic. I'm interested in that. I don't know if I'll get it. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that my phone is still recording. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I'm actually surprised we're still recording. Imagine that. Well, we might actually get to upload this on the second channel. I need to make all the art for the second channel as well. I don't have anything yet. Anyway, yeah, I want to get into basically every type of sim. The main three, which I have mentioned, are flight, ground, and the last one I would just call space. Any spaceship simulator games. More of you might know those. They're a bit more popular, like Elite Dangerous. What's the other one that everybody shits on? Star Citizen. Technically, oh God, I have this game. I played it. Other space game that has VR technically. It's not really, oh no, it's not a simulator. Sorry. It's not a simulator at all. That's a lie. Its flight controls are horrible. No Man's Sky, God, oh my God. I really wanted to like that game, and it's a really good game compared to what it used to be. But I came from like Elite Dangerous, where I was pampered with like super realistic flight sim controls. Oh my God, I cannot handle the horrible flight mechanics in No Man's Sky. It made me so sad. It kind of ruined the game for me, which I know is a very dumb reason, but it's true to someone who comes from a flight sim background. Anyway, I've played like thousands of hours, well, thousands. I don't know if I crossed the 2,000 mark. I might have in War Thunder. I played like almost 1,000 in Elite Dangerous. I have nothing in car sims yet because I really want to get into it. Anyway, that's mostly enough about that. Topic 2. Oh, no, wait, I forgot. Man, I'm running out of time. Sorry to make this feel rushed. I just don't have a lot of time. Last thing about this is my dream room, like my dream tech room. God, a little studio is just like you open the door and it's like you walk into a goddamn neon lit up buttons everywhere, switches everywhere, spaceship. That's like what my dream is. Just like a cockpit that has everything modularly set up where it's not in your way and can like be connected or moved.
Have your attention,
God damn it.
please. The library will remain open for 15 minutes. Library computers will shut down in 5 minutes.
Blah, blah, blah.
If you need to print, make copies, or check out.
Yeah, this is going to
please
keep
do so
happening.
this
It's
time.
annoying, I know.
If you're under the age of 13 and need to call for a ride, please do so now.
I'm an adult.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Man in the sky. It's God. God wants me to leave the library. Anyway, yeah, that's my dream. Just like a really nice blacked out room with like a baller $5,000 desktop PC setup that can do 3D renders because I do those. To have a full sim rig set up for all 3 types of sim, have a bunch of modular synth shit everywhere, music stuff all over the place, just like make it look dope, you know? That's what I want. Anyway, I'll get there eventually. Well, as you heard God say, I have 15 minutes, so got to speed through these last 2. I wish I didn't have to, but you know what? I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save this topic for next time, just because I don't have a lot of time and I want to cover it. So last 2 things here before we wrap up. I'll just do 2 topics today. So last thing I want to talk about is producing with samples. I recently was kind of one of the songs on the list, Concilium of my EP, I kind of felt bad about because I basically produced with a lot of samples for most of the drop. I didn't really make any of the bass sounds too much. Now I heavily distorted them and modulated them and like kind of chopped them up and turned them into new sounds. However, a lot of it was just arranging samples to sound really good. And I kind of felt that feeling of like, oh, I'm not a real artist. Oh, I don't really know how to make music. But then when I listen to the song, it gives me joy and I like it and I think it sounds good. So then I'm like, well, there must be a disconnect here. I did like a little Reddit search. I just typed in like, is it okay to produce with only samples Reddit? And like somebody at the top, like the first comment was very true. And it was like, do you like what you're producing? Then it's fine. I mean, as long as you're not literally just stealing other people's work. If you just make entire songs out of like 100 samples, that's fine, bro. As long as it sounds good, that's cool. I don't really do that. My process is a lot more detailed. I mostly use Serum, but the drops get kind of heavier in samples. Sometimes I'm lazy with drums, but you know, I just I don't like music elitism, and I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's fire. That's a good way to think about it. It's all about the journey, you know, like your musical journey. If you start out mostly doing samples, and then the more songs you make, you start piecing together entire drum beats on your own. and you stop using just like full completed drum samples and stuff like that. That's cool. You're growing as an artist, and there's nothing wrong if you never do. If you just don't ever do that, that's fine, bro. You don't got to. If you like what you're making, that's cool. That's all that matters, because it doesn't really matter what other people think about your art unless it's morally wrong, in which case it kind of matters. But other than that, it doesn't matter what people say, you know? Fuck them haters. Yeah. That was it's a condensed version of topic 3 because I don't have a lot of time. But last thing, so we're skipping topic 2. We'll save that for next time. Last thing here. Question section. Bro, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped. This is going to be something that I've always kind of dreamed of doing ever since I listened to, oh man, what was it called? This is Voice Acting Mastery with Crispin Freeman. Like in 2013 when I first got into voice acting, I was like,
Oh, I want to become a voice actor. This'll be fucking fire.
I didn't curse back then, but Crispin Freeman was a big influence on me as a kid because I never really knew anything about voice acting, and he had that podcast that he did a lot called I think I just said it. I cannot remember what I just said. Yep. Anyway, that kind of got me into like wanting to make podcasts and voice act and all that. And man, come full circle, like almost a decade later, and here I am, bro. I'm doing it. And that's crazy. That's awesome. That's dope. I'm happy. I'm excited. So on his podcast, he had like a section where he had like a answering machine set up with a phone number that people could call, and then they would leave voicemails. I think they could also write in, and he would answer some of the questions. And sometimes he'd just do entire episodes dedicated to answering fans' questions and stuff like that. And it was really cool. So here's what we've done for all of my Null Sector listeners and anybody who comes from any other media I make. If you found your way to this podcast, and if you made it to this section of the podcast, congratulations, because I am introducing you to our email, because that's the only way I can do it right now. Today, I created a new Gmail account, and that is, well, the email address is nullsectorpodcast@gmail.com, which, yes, is spelled like my producer handle. So really, it's NU-11 sectorpodcast@gmail.com. No hyphen in there like my producer handle, because we can't put those in email addresses. But here's what you do. If you have feedback, if you just like to give me your fucking opinion, I don't care. If you want to email me and just get in touch at all regarding the podcast, send an email over and I'll read it, and it'll be the coolest fucking thing in the world, because I'm not going to really tell anybody about this. I want it to happen naturally for the first time ever. So you listening to this right now, you could be the first person to actually send an email in. And if you're a friend of mine or a relative or family or anything like that, that would be awesome. First of all, that'd be great. But it's really going to be exciting when it's someone I have no idea who the fuck they are, and they send in an email related to the podcast. That's going to be hype as fuck, dude. Hype as fuck, dude. Anyway, if you would like to send in a question, there is a format. All that I ask is that in the subject line, you put a name, anything you'd like to go by. It, of course, does not have to be your real name. Just put something that I can address you by. So a name, dash, and then just type podcast question. That is it. That's all you have to do. Nothing else is necessary. Subject line, just put name, dash, podcast question. Whatever your name is, of course. And send that to NU-11 sectorpodcast@gmail.com. Write whatever the fuck you want in there. Send it on over. That's it. That's all you got to do. I'll talk about it in this section every time we end the podcast. This will be the last section of every podcast. And it may be very short for right now, because nobody may send in anything for a very long time. I have no idea. I'm going to predict that it may take up to episode 25 to get a first question. Maybe 30. I don't know. Maybe it's more like 70. I have no idea. It's episode 2, so who knows? But that's it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited, bro. Somebody make my day. I don't know who you are, but make my day. Send me in something, and suddenly you're a part of the dialogue. And that's like, I'm so excited to have a community. I'm really, really excited. I want to integrate YouTube, Spotify, my music, my second channel, this podcast. I want to build an entire community around what I do. That's my dream. I want to make money off of what I do as a hobby to become my full-time job, because I hate every job I've ever had, struggle with it horribly. That's a dream. That is not my goal. And have done this long enough and have matured as an artist to know that I'm not doing this for the money anymore. But that's my dream. It's never changed. Maybe one day, So that'd be fire. I say that a lot if you didn't know. Anyway, outro time. This has been great. So, all right, y'all. It is that time. Thank you for the immaculate vibes, dude. Thank you for those fucking immaculate vibes, for hanging with me, and I'll see you next week. As always, keep an eye out for all of my other forms of content on my YouTube channel, NU-11, my TikTok, which is at NU-11. Wow, I need to redo this. I'm going to start over. Oops. My YouTube channel. Okay, I'm just going to redo the whole thing. Yeah. All right, y'all. It is that time. Thank you for the immaculate vibes, dude. They're fucking great. Thank you for hanging with me, and I will see you next week. As always, God, fuck.
The library will close in 5 minutes. Please complete your final transactions at this time. Thank you.
All right, y'all. It is that time. God said I need to leave. So thank you for the immaculate fucking vibes, for hanging with me, and I will see you next week. As always, keep an eye out for all other forms of my content. My YouTube channel is NU-11. Oh.
Hi. Just wanted to give you a 5-minute warning.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, thank you. I swear to God, bro. I'm just trying to do my outro. Okay. Last chance. Last try, okay? All right, y'all. It is that time. Thanks for the immaculate fucking vibes, dude, for hanging with me. It's been great. I will see you next week. As always, keep an eye out for all other forms of my content. My YouTube channel is NU-11. My TikTok is at NU11_official. And of course, my Spotify, which is also just producer handle NU-11. My Twitter, which I don't have written down, but I believe is also just NU11 official. You can find me. My subreddit, which also does not exist yet, because I want to build a community around all my content. What else do I have? And lastly, my second channel, which does exist, but I have no content on it, so you can't see it, which is NU-22. That's it, y'all. I gotta go. So see you next time. See you on Monday, next Monday. And I love you. Peace out.
NU-11. No.
Sector Podcast.
I gotta fucking go. I gotta go. Anyway, so first podcast recorded with a video, so that's fire. Bye.